Assalamu
Salam
alaikum.
alaikum and happy Father's Day to you, Brother Edward Willis, and everyone who's on.
Well, thank you. So far, it's only us, but they'll be dripping in shortly, I'm sure. Have you been? Assalamu alaikum, Brother Adam.
Walaikum assalam. How you doing, brother?
I am doing well.
Alhamdulillah,
Doing
sis.
well.
I sound like Sis Khalida. Must be away from the computer.
Yeah, she spoke earlier. She put a message in the chat. Happy Father's Day to everyone.
Oh, okay.
She's probably at the masjid for Strong
School.
in school this morning, yeah, as well as trying to be here with us.
I was up trying to get the this tax return for this couple there in Tanzania.
They're in Tanzania as we speak.
Yeah, they work out of they have a medical practice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The husband's a chiropractor. He's I don't know what part of Africa he's from, but he went there from the U.S. He's an American resident,
Hmm.
and his wife is Caucasian. She's from North Carolina. I've heard their return about the last 5 years, man.
Okay.
But I can't. It's hard to get up with him now, man. So I'm trying to get some information, and
Is it communication? You can't communicate. Hard to reach them by phone or email or something or what?
well, there's 7 hour time difference, and
Okay. That's true.
their phone might not be. They might not have a network, and it's all kind of stuff.
Okay.
Issue.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine that because the grid in Africa is off and on.
Yeah, and that's what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And they had a chartered accountant over there that did their financial statements, and naturally they did it in Tanzanian shillings.
Hmm.
I had to do the exchange rate, and what they got as tax deductible is not over here. So I just need to ask some questions.
So are they paid by an American company to be over there or
No, yeah, they have his own. He has his
so
own practice.
it's their own practice. They
Right.
get paid in Tanzanian currency.
Correct.
So when they transmit that information to you, have they not already run the calculations of the currency exchange? Because I mean there's an app that'll actually do that for you. As soon as the money hits your account, it'll tell you what its value is in any other, tradable currency in the world. And of course, US dollars universal.
Well, they got their old trusted accountant Adam. He's Mr. Wizard.
So they expect you to do everything.
Oh man, this especially this year. Oh man.
So do they keep their money in an African bank or when they get paid, does it transfer to their American bank and they just use like a debit card or international, card or something like that for expenses over there? How do they do that?
I think they use the Bank of Tanzania, brother.
Man, that is not safe.
I know.
That is not
I
safe.
didn't want to tell them that. Then you got the exchange rate problems, and
Yes.
then they have annual thing, loss on conversion,
Hmm.
unrealized loss, and whatever.
Yep.
And they don't know that don't work on American tax return because it's unless they report it all as accrual basis.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure what they're doing over there, man. So I'm just trying to get through this thing.
They
Well,
might want to just start getting paid in chickens and goats and
there's something.
camels and cows and bushels of corn and stuff like
Oh man.
that. I mean, I would myself. I mean, if I could trust the product, you could pay me in cows and chickens all day long. I'd be happy,
Mm.
you know. Then I'd have a deal with the butcher to pay him in meat,
Hmm.
you know. when he did the work for me. I'd have it a chain set up. I probably wouldn't, I would only have a certain amount of actual taxable income that you could trace.
But that's the thing, right? They had they have a loss when I did all the translations and things. They end up having a loss. So I asked him. I said, "Well, to put a $52,000 loss on a tax return
Man, that's strong.
and no income."
Yeah, that's strong, man. You got to be bold to do that.
I said, "No, it wasn't that much loss." Well, yeah, it is. I said, "How'd you live? How'd you pay your living expenses and whatever?" And he said, "Well, we had to borrow money out of our savings." I said, "Okay. Well, at least give me some income, interest income, or dividend income, or something from your savings, you know?
Right. Yep.
Because you say you got a savings, but you don't have any income from it, that's going to be questionable."
Hmm.
Assalamu
So,
alaikum, everyone. Happy
Alaikum
Father's Day
salam.
to you and your families, and may Allah bless you with strong families and strong lineage. This is Sister Khalida, and may Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
so anyway, that's my problem. I don't want to bore y'all with my problem.
That's an interesting problem though,
Hmm.
because I think it's not a growing trend, but there are enough African Americans, especially now this particular brother is African to begin with, but there are enough African Americans that are at least toying with the idea of migrating to Africa and trying to start some kind of life over there and probably, live 9 months out of the year in Africa, come back and see family for 2 or 3 months of the year. And it's a different type of economic system there.
It is. And like I said, there's nothing is a given.
Right.
Nothing is a given. So I'll stay down here on the ground that I'm used to. I do it that way. I'm not like my brother Rabani. Assalamu alaikum, Rabani.
Alaikum assalam rahmatullah. How you doing, brothers and sisters?
Alhamdulillah.
Happy Father's Day to all.
Thank you, brother. Same to you, man.
Same to you, my brother.
Alhamdulillah.
Oh, they hadn't started yet. Oh, they're about to, they got a few minutes, I guess. We'll give our brothers and sisters about 4 more minutes, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Happy Father's
So,
Day to all of you, imams and brothers. We appreciate everything you do, and may your families recognize you, and may your lineage be blessed, like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I mean, thank you.
have you guys been keeping up with the latest peace talks with Iran, United States, Israel, all that good stuff? And if you have, what do you think about the proposed deal? What we know about it?
I don't think we know enough about it, brother. Especially if you wait, selling on what's said from this side.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's a lie. In the media we got, they're duplicit. So I don't know what it's all about, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused myself, especially on the money part of it. I mean, the bombs and bullets and stuff like that, you can pretty easily follow that. I mean, either they're shooting or they're not shooting, and if it goes 15, 20 days and they're not shooting and bombing each other, then you can, you know, kind of surmise that, okay, well, maybe they did decide that they're not going to be hostile to each other. But the money part of it, that's really strange because the little bit of craziness that I have heard is coming out of Europe. And it was about the $300 billion number
hmm
and where that money was coming from.
Where it's coming from.
Yeah, and the Europeans are saying it's not coming from us.
No, that's haven't they seized some of their assets?
Yeah, but it's nowhere close to $300 billion. It's probably somewhere in the 12 to $30 billion range.
Okay. Well, wherever it's coming from, I don't know these new guys over around the new so-called new leaders over there.
Hmm.
And if there's any negotiation, I can surmise that Trump is getting paid.
But by who though? Because the Iranians won't pay him. So it
Uh,
had to be like the Saudis or the Qataris who just want to get life back, especially the Qataris want to get life back to normal so they can start pumping or shipping liquefied natural gas because that's 80% of their economy.
well,
They need to get back to shipping that stuff around the world and especially to Asia. So if anybody is going to be writing a check to Trump, it would be the Qataris.
they've done it before. They've done it
Oh,
before, brother. So
yes, they have. I know. I know very well. So just a really an interesting aside, just real quick. I have a really good friend She's Canadian, but she lived in Qatar for 20 years until a year and a half ago. And she worked for the Qatar Foundation. She worked for Sheikha, the Sheikh's wife, Sheikha Moza. That was her name, Sheikha Moza. So she worked for Sheikha Moza for 20 years. She was the speechwriter for her and taught her etiquette when she went to the United Nations, how to greet people and all that stuff. That was Jacqueline's job. So Jacqueline left that position a year and a half ago. She's back living in Canada now. When the bombing started, not only the building in which Jacqueline worked was destroyed, the house that she lived in was destroyed. So she was like beside herself. Because if she had stayed on, signed a new 3-year contract like they wanted her, she would have been there when all this stuff started. And both her building and her home were basically destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, just one of those weird asides, you know, because she and her sons are the only people that I know who lived in Doha. But it's just, you know, she got out in time before all the craziness started.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so let's get this show on the road. Imam Adam, if you will open us up with the dua this morning.
Yes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Did that work? Assalamu alaikum.
I am sorry, I was muted. I was simply
And
talking
everybody else
away.
was just waiting.
Yeah, I'm talking away, flipping through notes,
Alhamdulillah.
and didn't know that I was muted. But I just wanted to once again just greet everybody this morning. Thank you all for being here. And I was saying there's a couple of things that I wanted to touch on before we went down whichever path we end up on this morning. And one of those is the relationship that we will have with the new website folks, Donation Pro. So we have a payment that is due them. I want to say it's on the 26th. So what is that? Friday, this coming Friday?
Yes.
And I did not do my research and write down okay, there it is. First 6 months, $62.50 a month starting June 27th. So June 27th is actually, it'll be next Saturday, but for all practical purposes, let's just say it's going to hit on Friday. So it's $62.50. So just so we all know that that starts this coming Friday by my calculations, the way I would do business. If I was them, I would take the money on Friday. So, so we've got that. And also I spent, I guess I really spent about 3 hours this week, again, calling credit unions that were on that list that we were given of either poorly performing credit unions or credit unions that were in need of they're not growing or something of that nature. And made some calls. As usual, you don't get from a cold call, you don't get a tremendous amount of response, and I haven't done warm up emails to warn people that I'm going to call them yet. So just kind of calling out of the blue. I did get the warmest response I got, and I hate Imam Talib's not here yet. I have to repeat this to him. Was a credit union in Washington, D.C. You guys, you can look it up if you want to. It is Lee Federal Credit Union. And obviously, by the name Federal Credit Union, we know it can serve all 50 states and territories and all that good stuff. But this is just some basic information on Lee Federal Credit Union, which I verified in general. I mean, I didn't get any specific things. They didn't send me an audited financial or anything like that, but they're a little over $5 million in total assets. They've been a credit union since the early 60s, have about 250 members, and only one branch. They're relatively small. This was the interesting part as I was looking through credit unions. A large percentage of their lending is real estate. Most credit unions I see, you can almost, the ones that I review their financials or whatever, you can almost tell that it seems like the automobile business and automobile lending is primary because that number of unsecured loans or other loans is typically larger than the real estate portion, which always surprised me in the beginning, does not surprise me that much anymore because it seems to be a pattern. But in this particular case, their real estate loans heavily outweighed any other lending. So on the surface, I mean, they don't seem to have. I didn't get an answer to this question, but I just looked at their basic financials. They didn't seem to have any really bad debt. People not paying their loans back and stuff like that. Their allowance for loan and lease losses, very, very low. So they're not having to set aside a bunch of money to, cover people defaulting or anything of that nature, which is good. And their net income, not tremendous, about $115,000 as of, I think, close of business 2025. So I mean, they're not robust. They're not doing a heck of a lot of stuff, but what the little bit that they're doing, it seems like it's based on good judgment. So I mean, I was just thinking Washington, D.C., Nation's Mosque, Imam Talib is right there and could probably do a drive-by observation of their branch there. They're in Northwest. And I think Imam Talib said he lives in Northwestern Washington, D.C. We'll have to ask him when he's on. So this may not be, would be a totally out of the way place for him to drop in and take a look. But they talked to me. Most of the ones I called, and I did call some credit unions that, they were kind of nice, but they really didn't have time to talk. So I will continue to go down that pathway. But I thought that particular one, maybe that's a maybe that might be open to be approached. Once we have our feet under us a little bit more. So, any comments or observations on any of either of those two things that I just brought up? So, a more direct question. Adam, how are we set up to take care of Donation Pro? The first payment.
That I was going to ask you, if you can send me the link, I can just have a draft from the account.
Okay, so do you remember whether or not, I wonder if they didn't get that particular information transferred to them, right? Do we remember if all the banking stuff was transferred over to them? I don't remember from the communications, but I will send you I'll send you what they sent me.
Okay.
And hopefully within that is the information that you need to link up with them.
Yeah, I don't remember them sending that. So,
Okay, but I'll send you what I have from them as far as getting all that set up if they don't have it.
yeah, and then I can make sure there's automatic draft.
Okay.
And just so everybody will know, you would say $62 a month.
$62.50.
Yeah. Since no one is asking, I tell you right now, if everything is the same, we get 10 months in the account.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So we just need to keep building the account. And
Exactly.
for now we're good. We just need to be more consistent and in making personal donations and things of that nature. Okay. All right.
Right.
So it seems like we're gonna be squared away on that, unless, meteor hits us or something. So we're good. Um, and as far as no comments on, let me just ask this: as far as if we were to pursue taking over management of another credit union, is there a preferred location? Because I mean, there's no, like, for example, I personally, there were two or three credit unions that were located in like the state of Ohio. I'm I don't see us being in Ohio. If somebody says we should be in Ohio, please give me a reason. I just don't see us as having a strong presence in the state of Ohio. I don't see us having a strong presence in the state of Minnesota, even though we have all of our Somali brothers and sisters that live in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area in particular. They wouldn't know me or you or anybody else from, you know, somebody from LA or just a random person. We don't have a connection. So when I'm calling most of these places that I'm calling, I'm looking at credit union opportunities in and around Philadelphia, Newark, Charlotte, uh, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Florida, places that we've been and that we've at least sniffed the air there, New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, Houston, Atlanta. Those those are places. If I didn't say Philadelphia, let me say Philadelphia. Those are the places that I am looking at these opportunities. Am I on the right path there? Should I be doing something else?
It would be, I would think it would be nice to have a location that's adjacent to some of our larger communities, but that we can communicate with. That would be good.
And that's what I'm doing. I mean, this is off the top of my head because when we do our own heat maps, the majority of individuals who attend even something like a Time to Be Grateful, I mean, you basically start 500 miles east of the Mississippi River,
Hmm.
right? I mean, but then Chicago and Detroit, well, Chicago's closer to the Mississippi River than that, but not that close. But basically, you're to east of the Mississippi River, and then you have the pockets of large Islamic, well, IWDM community, Los Angeles and Houston, primarily. You can't throw Dallas in there. You can't throw Phoenix in there. You can't throw Denver in there. You cannot throw Seattle in there. I kind of, rope Los Angeles, San Diego together. Almost everything else is east of the Mississippi River. And even when I get east of the Mississippi River, you're except for the upper East Coast, when you get into Philadelphia, Newark, New York, Washington, D.C., Virginia, around Portsmouth, I guess, or Norfolk. Then you're going to drop down to, Charlotte, the whole state of North Carolina, Miami, Orlando, St. Petersburg, Tampa, where there's concentrations of population, obviously Atlanta and Georgia. But I mean, Baltimore, should I look at Baltimore? Do we have a strong enough presence in Baltimore to look there? Or should I include Baltimore and Washington, D.C. area together?
No, I would probably include that in one area because and someone else can, because you have a lot of quote suburban DC, suburban Baltimore that Muslims have
Hmm.
presence in,
Yeah,
Maryland.
right, right. Okay. So this is one of the, and I'm going off of just bits of information that I pick up from Muslim Journal, social media, obviously, your Facebook, especially about events that go on in our community, and you see relatively large numbers of people attending, whether it's the Eids or whether it's celebrating a new masjid or whatever. So I'm basing it on that because again, we don't have a true census of where we are and who we are. So, when it comes to making some of these economic decisions, I mean, I may do as strong as the next person, but I would really love to have some information, to be able to make things work, to actually plan things out. It's part of the intellect, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned, but we don't have that information.
and
So,
you have to have it.
but yeah, it would be great. It would be great to have it. But anyway, I think I'm on the right path based on the information that I have of trying to concentrate in those areas because I'm really getting into this idea of connecting with an existing credit union. And taking over management of that credit union. And basically all you need, I mean, I'm not basically all you need, but obviously you need some kind of a memorandum of understanding with them and that type of thing and a time frame to work from to do the things that you need to do to be able to take over management, board of directors, things of that nature of that particular credit union in hopes that it would galvanize people within our community. I don't care if people in our community know this, that we would do something like that to motivate them to help us close the deal. Because we're not doing this for our own benefit. We're doing this for the benefit of the community. So anyway, any comments on any of that? You guys sound like, because of the silence, you sound like a group of people who are ready to go to Father's Day brunch.
I'm thinking.
So anyway,
We had ours yesterday.
oh, did you?
Very,
Okay,
very nice. And
great.
the sisters outdid themselves.
That is great.
Oh man. But I'm thinking, this is new information to me. Uh, I don't have any uh, knowledge base, and as you're speaking, I'm questioning, you know, where we are as a group, and uh, I really believe that this idea of autonomous masjids and centers, masajid and centers, has affected the spirit, the collective spirit of the group, and that we need more efforts in seeing ourselves as a as associates. I don't use often community of Imam Muhammad because of what's necessary to actually be that. But in terms of associates of the Imam and our connection with the history, the the history that connects us, um, I'm I'm not sure whether or not. Well, I don't know how much the leadership, uh, the formal leadership of the Imam leadership, how much they are working on the critical issues. And one of those critical issues is having a more collective community focus. We talk about community, but there's certain things necessary to actually have that as a reality. And too often, our history as African Americans, and sometimes I want to use so-called Negroes, our history is we say a lot, we project in language, but not enough in terms of where the rubber meets the road, you know, and it's problematic for me. And I'll stop there.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. And, one of the things that we all hear from time to time is that we don't have a structured leadership. We don't have a leadership that's, kind of directed toward some areas that we're lacking. I think we have a great leadership as far as teaching teaching the faith. I really and truly do.
I believe that too. But
And I think it's across the board. But I also think that, whether it's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it's Imam W.D. Muhammad, it's Malcolm X, it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., so on and so forth, that we sometimes put way too much on the plates of people that we say are our leaders and expect them to do way too much.
I agree with
And
that.
and these things like something as simple as who's a member of your masjid. I mean, is there some legal hurdle for a masjid to be able to say that we have 75 members in our masjid, or 1,000 or 150 or whatever? Is there some legal hurdle to that?
No,
Is there some legal hurdle to saying that, we have, 100 married couples and 175 singles, and we've got 80 young people under the age of 18. Is there some legal hurdle to that?
I don't believe so, but I just think in terms of a consciousness in terms of the importance
Yeah,
of
but
that
that's
that
that's
kind of
that's us. That's us.
yeah.
That's not the imam. You shouldn't have to go to an imam
No,
and bother him to get that information.
I agree.
And all it is it doesn't have to be. I mean, our question isn't to tie some individual to being a member or whatever. We're just trying to get demographics.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all. It's just demographics. And I can give demographics, and it might not be right and exact. I can say, well, X amount of people attend Juma on Friday without going and digging down deeper than that and saying these are members.
Yeah, I agree. I
And,
agree with that.
but the problem, to me, the problem is this: why did the imam? The reason is why did the imam um, pull us away from a national organization? We
Because
need to
he
have
did
that.
he did well. I'm just
Wait,
going on
wait.
the speech that he made, right? There's a lecture that he gave,
Hmm.
and I'm sure he gave more than one, but just this is give me some rope here. The one that I listened to, he basically said that he did not want to have this one centralized body that could be attacked, right? And everything that had been built be destroyed. He didn't want them to be able to just target one body and take us all out.
All
That's
right.
basic.
So that
That
was a
That's my
legal.
basic understanding.
That is a legal move,
right.
strictly.
Hmm.
Look how much property that was built up under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that we no longer have.
Right.
So from a person that deals with corporations and that, I understood perfectly what the man was saying, right? That
Hmm.
these properties there are under the auspices of a corporation known as Omar Ibn Said Incorporated, Al Masjid Corporation. The land is owned by the corporation. The assets are owned by the corporation, not owned by some corporation in Chicago or Atlanta, or if you get a state owned by Charlotte. This is owned by the corporation in Fayetteville. So when they come after us, they're not coming after the whole country.
Right.
So from a legal point of view, I can see, and this is just me seeing. I'm not saying that's the only reason why, but I can see perfectly why the imam did what he did and give us the opportunity to build up assets and
Hmm.
not being obligated to send our money to Chicago when we need the money here locally. You follow me?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see perfectly why the imam did in my estimation, did what he did. Now, in terms of who we align with, I can see perfectly why we should say we're the community of Imam W. Muhammad. Because it wasn't just the federal government that was going after our property, brothers and sisters.
That's true.
You understand? We had a
Muslim.
community in Fayetteville that tried to take over our property.
We had Saudi Arabia trying to take over
Right.
ours in Birmingham.
Exactly. And so we need to protect that. And they tried they made a big stinker about trying to become the leadership. The brother was trying to be the leader. His problem was he was on probation. And we got rid of him by saying, we're going to call the police.
And some,
he talking about stop for life. Yeah, I can't say that. So I'm
some,
saying that's a reality. And he was African,
yeah.
of course. That's a reality.
And some of those folks were acting as agents for other folks.
Oh, we know it. We know it.
Yeah, yeah,
They didn't have a
yeah.
dime in their pocket. We know what
That's
they were
right.
trying to do.
That's right.
It just didn't work.
Yeah. But it worked in other places
It
because
did.
I was asked to go to Birmingham. I lived in Noonan, Georgia, and we're under the structure of the AMC, I think it is, American Muslim Society or something like that.
Mhm.
Imam Ibrahim Bacha asked me to go to Birmingham, put in my resume to go to Birmingham. Be- I did so. He told me to ask my wife, but it was much later when I asked him the why of it. I was in the hear and obey mindset,
Mhm.
but it was much later that he told me we were losing property, and I found the mechanism. We were approached by Saudi agents to sign papers, and they would help us financially if we signed the contract with them,
Mhm.
and that was the process in which we were losing properties unless it come under their influence.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know all of that. And I'm going to sit here and say that for the next 10 years, what was it you used to say, Adam? That a whole lot of these problems would be solved if we had a few more janazas.
Well, I was just I was passing.
Oh man, it's sad but true.
Pass on down.
He said it in jest, everybody. He
Well,
said it in jest.
there's
No, I was
truth.
just passing on what
There's
somebody told to me, and I thought it was good. I'm not going to take ownership of
yeah, well,
that. Hey,
there's truth in jesting sometimes.
especially now when most of us are getting to that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a
But
process. It's a process.
so I'm going to just say we'll have this debate about how we are actually under one umbrella and what that means for at least another decade. At least another decade.
Well,
So
in terms
we
of
can't we
umbrella,
can't we can't spend any more energy on that argument, right? You got too many people that are not going to be moved from that particular argument. That should not stop us from being able to individually and in small groups and on a community-wide basis share information with each other.
and collaborations,
And collaboration.
yeah.
Exactly. I agree. I 100% agree. Here's a question for you. So, because I think about this all the time, and I'm really fortunate that my children are older, and I don't have to be terribly concerned about their education and things at this particular point in time. But, I'm well aware that we have 4, maybe 5, because I think Miami is still a coin flip, full-time schools. And, if we were to take the approach that we were going to pour as much of our assets into the schools, surviving schools that we have, and I think all of them are, once again, east of the Mississippi River. But if we were going to pour our assets into those particular schools and make them elite on a level that no matter where you lived, if you thought your child was deserving and capable, that you'd want to send your child to that school, wherever it may be. Let's just use Atlanta as for sake of argument. So we've got the entire, Sister Claire Muhammad School, IWDM High School system there in Atlanta. And you live in Baltimore and you want to send your child to that school. Are there host families in Atlanta? Do we know and trust each other enough?
Yes, we have that
That if I
because
live,
my son went
okay,
there.
okay. So there are host families in Atlanta to take a child in,
Yes.
people that you would trust. Okay. So some of the connectivity that we desire is already in place. Because that trusting somebody with my child, even a relative, is a big deal. I worried about my children if I send them to grandma's house. So that particular level of trust is a major starting point for proving that we have that kind of trust and connectivity on a certain level, a very important level. So why can't we start to share and collaborate on other levels as well? I mean,
Agreed.
in a major way. I'm not talking about here and there, hit and miss. We have people in our community now who are educated and smart enough and understand whatever you want to call it. You want to call it the schemes of Satan, or you just want to call it the way the legal and economic system in this country works, to help guide us through a lot of different, twists and turns to make sure that the things that we're working on, that we can have as many protections in place as possible to keep people who don't like us and don't want us to succeed from being able to topple us over. So I think it's a matter of applying the energy in those areas, and maybe not being quiet about it, but being very open about our desires to build collectively, to make some decisions collectively that don't necessarily mean that you got to be under the same corporation, or it doesn't even have to be the same joint venture and all of these type things where people can attack you easily as one small group, but still enough to let people know that we're on the move and that we're not going to be stopped in racing toward all that is good. But I do think that knowing what our demographics are, even if it's 92%, I think it would be a big start. It would help so much planning and allocation of resources.
We have to have it.
Yes, Sister Kalita, please.
Assalamu alaikum,
Alaikum
brother Edward.
assalam.
Assalam.
One of the things that we're doing here, we have recently done, is the secretary sent a link out. If you consider yourself part of Masjid al-Shahid as a member, these are the guidelines. Click here, sign up. And what they did is also send out the part of the bylaws that obligate you as a member. You know, are you attending so many Jumals a year? Are you contributing? Have you been a standing member at least a year, et cetera? Of course, there's some guidelines that the bylaws have in it to consider yourself a member so someone doesn't just come in day one and wanting to vote and et cetera. So it is helping us with the demographics. And if we could do that collectively as a UMA and maybe the conveners of imams, because they have that national influence, could set up a system of doing that. Just like you take the survey, a census, and we can get it back up within 6 months. I think that could help. We can do that. I know it's helping us and it's helping us clear up misconceptions of people who thought they were members and they were not members as of yet for whatever reason. It may just be getting in touch with them and getting their contact information and understanding what it means to be a member at Masjid al-Shahid and what the expectation of a member in good standing is.
I'm in 100% agreement with what you guys are doing. And the thing I want to add is that you have done it without going to the Supreme Court, conveners of imams,
Yeah.
to get their approval. And I
Yeah.
think that every community should do something along those lines. Maybe it doesn't need to be as formal as what Masjid al-Shahid is doing. Maybe it has to be more along the lines of what Adam proposed, because you can kind of pretty much do an eyeball and see what your demographics are. If you're somebody who is a regular, if you're a Juma regularly in other events, you can have a good idea of what your community is. But I love that idea. One of the two masjids that I attend on a regular basis does that on an annual basis with sending out the bylaws and with certain guidelines, that if you're going to continue to be a member, you need to meet these points. And if you want to be in a position to vote on certain things, in and around the masjid, including, choosing the resident scholar or resident imam, then, you need to be doing certain things that show that you're an active member of this particular community and you know what's going on. Same thing with board of directors, same thing with choosing a principal for the school, same thing with, any kind of real estate additions, changes that are going on, all of those things that actually shows that, your head and your heart are here.
Yes.
So now, again, what Masjid al-Shahid is doing, to me, that's perfect. But I would take what Adam proposed as well, based on where we are right now. That even would be a major step. And I would love for that information to be shared and compiled. And when you share and compile it, you don't have to necessarily say, oh, we've broken this down. This is what Charlotte said, and this is what Miami said, and this is what Fayetteville said, and this is what Baltimore said, and this is what DC said. No, just compile the whole thing and give raw numbers.
Do agree.
That would be a big step for us, just to know our community. That would be a major step.
Yes, alhamdulillah. Another thing they did for the last 2 years, I believe, we get an influx at Eid of different orientations and different children from all types of ethnicities that come to our Eid programs and also to our summer camps and our different events and just dinners. We have a lot of, programs that feed people, and that really increases the amount of people who come. But when you come in, there's a scanner for you to sign in to receive emails and information from Masjid Al-Shahid, and to sign up as a new member. It asks some questions, how long they've been here, etc. It's a short, just who are you, so we can have your contact information. So they do have ways of knowing who's coming through the door, and welcoming people, and trying to retain them, and establishing membership as well. So that's the less formal. They could just scan it with their phone and sign in, give them our information, and we'll contact them.
Yeah, I mean,
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Khalil. Sister Khalil? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. I am
Go
still
ahead.
here.
Go ahead, Willis.
Would like to-
Okay. I just wanted to find out if you can have Brother Maurice contact me. Okay.
Yes,
Since you
sir. I
did.
will.
Yeah.
I definitely
Because
will.
it's dealing with the cemetery project.
Alhamdulillah.
We got
Okay, yes, sir. I will
we got
see.
the permit. We got the permit.
Mashallah.
So.
That's beautiful. I am excited. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. You make me cry. La ilaha
Alhamdulillah.
illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Thank you so much. And I'll give him that message. I'll see him shortly, inshallah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes,
Happy Father's
Alhamdulillah.
Day.
Okay. Thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Welcome. Thank you.
so tell us all about that, Rabani. That's been a big deal. That's been going on for a few years, right?
Yeah, we've been battling this thing for almost 5 years, bro. Yeah, so we got the permit to complete to engage that acreage into a cemetery. So they even was flipping the zoning on us, but I'm kind of acrobatic, so I can handle those flips. So yeah, so no, I mean, look, we had the battle. People don't realize, that was a battle. It wasn't just a piece of land; it was a principle. And we held out, because we trained for 25 rounds, and these people only train for 10 rounder. We expect to go 25 rounds. Jack Johnson, man. We got it though, alhamdulillah, with God's permission and grant. Yeah. They use anything that is bad, they say Jack. Huh? Jack the Ripper.
You don't know Jack.
Hi, Jack. Exactly. Hi, Jack. Jack and Jill. Something gonna happen with Jack and Jill, right? Yeah, so we have a great opportunity, and then we're actually on the verge of getting our permit down in the Masjid Al Ansar for renovation of the historical.
That's in Miami.
building.
That's the Miami
Yeah.
Masjid.
Miami, yes. Yes.
Okay.
And we've got the project started in Raleigh. That's going to be they're working on the foundations now. Okay.
Okay.
And we're
So
going to break
let me,
ground, God willing.
Rabani, let me stop you for a
Yes.
second. How many different masjid projects are going on in Raleigh?
Well, I know the one that I designed, and the one that we broke ground. We have the building permit, so it's just a
Okay.
matter, it's on. Train has left the
Okay.
station.
Okay.
Okay, that's
So-
under Imam Oliver Muhammad.
Okay.
He's the imam at that masjid. Okay,
Okay.
and the masjid in Colombia, we're getting ready to decide what day we're going to have a groundbreaking. We got the permit, and we're negotiating now with the contractor, and then that's an addition to the 5,000 square foot building that's existing. So this is another additional 5,000, almost 6,000 square feet. that permit is we have that permit in our hands. So
Okay. So in these particular cases now, and leave Miami out of it because I have a feeling
yeah.
that the community down there in Miami will have less funding problems maybe than some of the other places that we might talk
Hmm.
about. So
Right.
are any long-term funding issues, say in the Raleigh project, for example?
Not to my knowledge, they've been working on getting monies for several years.
Okay.
So that's, this is just not, at the spur of the moment type thing. Same way with
So the reason I
uh,
asked that is that here in Dallas, at Masjid Al Islam, we've
mhm.
had this ongoing building project to build a brand new masjid. Is basically it's been the 5 years that you're talking about. You've been working on Charlotte. We've been working on that here, and the issue that continually props up is the building cost have escalated quite a lot. I mean,
Yes. Hmm.
you have a target. You're going to raise $2.5 million to be able to do that construction. You pass a certain
Hmm.
date, now you're talking about $2.75 million, and then you go a little bit farther, and the immigrant labor force has left the country, and now you got to pay people more to work on construction projects, and now it's a $3 million project. So I just wondered if they had run into any of those type things, just
Well,
just because it's
yeah.
more expensive.
Hmm. Yeah, well, hey, look, you just got to give more. That's all. And
Yeah.
understand that that's the if we're living under this economic system, okay, we have zakat every year. Uh,
Hmm.
okay, so increase your zakat in relationship and in accordance with the increase of the inflation, and we'll be all right. Just have the desire to do it, and that's all. All you need is the desire to do it, and you'll get it done. Look at the slaves that came off the plantation. They didn't have they started with zero, and they put their little nickels and dimes together, and what when they got the nickels and dimes together, they started the excavation, and then maybe next year we put the foundation in, and then next year we put the flooring in and the
Hmm.
walls up. That's how you have to have that kind of determination and that grit to when you start out on something. Yeah, we're gonna get it done. And I don't know. That's that Nation of Islam in me.
Okay.
So when we
So
decide
here's
we're
a
gonna do,
question. This is
yeah.
kind of this is a general question for everybody.
Mm,
So I think all of us are okay with the individual Mukmin going to his credit union and taking out a loan to buy a house or do a home improvement loan or buy a car. I mean, we're in the path of starting a credit union based on the belief that this type of activity is going to be okay. Are we also okay collectively with the collective group of Muslims who call themselves a local ummah in a particular masjid, of that masjid going to that very same credit union and getting a loan to build a building?
Can I say something about
Bob,
Yes.
this? Back in 1996 or 7, when we decided to, after years of putting monies aside and things of that nature, and we made the decision that we wanted to get this masjid project off the ground. And we had we clearly didn't have enough money accumulated as a community. So Imam Muhammad, when I was in Italy, and I told the Imam about the project when he went over to Rome. He said, try the Saudis. I think I might have told y'all that before. He said, have you asked the Saudis? So we came back and we wrote the Saudi embassy. We had didn't hear anything. We tried to call, no answer. So we contacted I had a friend that worked with Charlie Rose, who was a U.S. congressman at the time.
The great
And
Charlie Rose.
remember him?
Yeah.
I do remember good time Charlie Rose. Yes.
Good time, Charlie Rose. I don't remember
Yeah. Now
that description.
Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway. So Congressman Rose wrote the Saudi embassy in our behalf. And about a week later, we got a phone call. So the brother that called from the ambassador's office asked why do we have to contact the congressman? I said, well, we just wanted to have a formal introduction. Well, brother, you don't need to call the congressman to get us to respond to you. I said, I know, brother. We just thought it would help. And I said under my breath, lying, man, Tama. They wouldn't call us without that, right? Anyway, long story short, we ended up not getting any money from the Saudis. And we tried to get an Islamic financing through, I don't know if Brother Rabban, you were around. Remember the Caucasian Muslim brother that worked for the Bank of Kuwait, Stephen Abdul Qadir? Anyway,
Vaguely.
I met him at a national convention. We kind of exchanged numbers and kept in touch. And I asked him, I saw they were coming up with Islamic financing for houses, if they can come up with something for the masjid. And he said, well, let me find out. So we finally heard back from his bank, and they said that they could develop a financing package for us.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be,
Oh, yeah.
the payment would be based on 30 years at 8%.
Huh.
They didn't call it interest, they called it something else. Where our local bank was going to give us 30 years at 7.25%. So I said to myself, I'm going to go with the cheaper money, right? And we don't have to worry about them coming to Juman and trying to approve our Jumans and all the other stuff immigrants do when they get involved with us. You know what I mean? So we got the loan and eventually constructed the masjid. And we paid the loan off in 13 years.
Alhamdulillah.
Right? Not 30, but 13 years. And now we own the building, land, the property, everything is flat and clear. So naturally, we came up under a lot of grief because we did that. We had people talking about stock for law, riba, blah, blah, blah. This Muslim doctor that had an office next to my office at the time, I said, Brother Imam, you shouldn't go to the bank. It's riba. I said, well, brother, Prophet Muhammad said you help your brother in the wrong and in the right. On the right and in the wrong. He said, you help him in the wrong by holding him back from the wrong. I said, brother, you can give us the money right now and hold us back from the wrong. Naturally didn't hear nothing from him. So I'm saying that to say this.
Well,
if
that's
they're
the
gonna
same
go,
thing
if
that
they're gonna
happened
go
when.
get some money anyway from a bank or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it be great to show them, if you're gonna do this, how to pay it off in more than, don't make the minimum payment, because the banks want you to make the minimum payment, because the
Right.
longer you keep the money, the more money they make.
Exactly.
So here's a process you can do to get out of debt quicker, and
Hmm.
teach them that.
Right.
That's what you need to do. So if we do that, that would piggyback on what Graceline is doing anyway. And
Right.
they teach financial empowerment and financial education to people that don't know anything about it.
So I'm 100% on board with it. And I brought that up because I now know, of course, the masjid here that I spoke of, but there was another masjid that will go unnamed. There's nobody from that masjid on here to defend them. You have a $3.5 million project on paper, and your community has raised well over $2 million. I don't know of an American bank that would not take your $2 million that you raised and not loan you another $1 million
Yeah.
on top of that to complete your project of which is going to stand as collateral, $3 million value that's going to stand as collateral for $1 million loan. You know,
Make, makes sense.
I just there's no banker worth his salt that would turn that down.
That's right.
So the question that you guys ran into, Adam, seems to be a question that other people are continuing to run into, and they don't have the capacity or the will or the belief that's necessary to deal with it to come to the same conclusion that you guys did. So there's some kind of a disconnect there, just as far as you know, the law goes that governs Islamic finance and what you can and can't do and those type things. So anyway,
Well, what it's language because we became aware that the Islamic banking that was available, as Adam mentioned, uh, they were asking more money under another name than the quote unquote interest that the bank was asking. And it's problematic because of how riba is being taught, you know. Uh, just like the Islamic banking had certain methods to justify the 8%. It's the same with banking. There's certain costs in terms of handling certain accounts, and it's just bad understanding being taught what riba actually represents. We were told riba was closer to the way that the what do you call them, the those places where you take your items and you get what's the name? My mind is racing.
pawn shops
Pawn, pawn
and
shop, pawn shop.
going to a Shylark and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and that's different from the way banks operate.
right. I agree.
And we can't do without the way this system. I remember, excuse me, a Ugandan sheikh in Birmingham was teaching on this idea of riba, and he was sharing, and it was predominantly Arab audience, but he was teaching that you can't do without the way the banking system operates. You can't do without it, in terms of housing, cars. And he made it clear that, that operation is not the same as what Reba represents. And so it was very interesting. But some of this ignorance is designed to just hold us back, hold us back from progress. And in America, we have to understand what we need to utilize from a system and those things that we can get around.
I agree. 100% agree with you. And luckily, I think that there are enough people that are intelligent in this particular area because we are actually growing asset wise as a community. New masjids, new development, things of that nature are actually happening across the country.
That's right.
Uh, and not just east of the Mississippi. There's some stuff going on the West Coast as well that is very positive with communities growing and building their asset base, especially in the form of real estate. So I think there are actually really good things happening, but collectively, I mean, a lot of these things are happening without the collective involvement of a lot of people in the community.
Yes.
And, hopefully Graceline can kind of fill in that gap in a lot of different ways as far as making sure that everybody, no matter what their economic class is or educational level in our community, has access to this particular kind of knowledge just to be able to, better manage their lives, so to speak, and
Yes.
and just to understand things that are going on in their own community. I mean, we're not supposed to really have these hierarchical relationships within our community. I mean, we do choose people to be on shura boards, and we do choose a resident imam and all those type things. And I know that we abdicate to a certain extent a lot of what goes on to them, but that shouldn't stay, all that information should not stay in the hands of just a few people. It needs to be shared, with the community as a whole to the level that they actually understand what's going on. And maybe, at least on the financial side, maybe Graceline can continue to do a good job with that.
That's my prayer. That's my prayer.
Yeah. Okay. So Adam, did you see Brother Shamsuddin's message in the chat? Was he, I think, Brother Hassan, I think if you go to, you should still be able to simply go to the website. And I know maybe that, if I remember correctly, you would much rather send a check than necessarily do something online as far as making a contribution to Graceline. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, that's
Because
a
if
good
you,
idea. You know, Imam Adam had given uh he'd given a couple platforms that I know I'm not really I know one of them that he gave I just didn't have, and I
okay,
think he didn't want to give Cash App or something he said because it was connected to his business or something like that.
right, right. Okay.
But,
So would
but
you
that's
would you
still
rather
good.
simply send it
Yeah,
in the
I am. I'm
mail?
sorry. I had walked away.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
yeah. But you want to answer that now or just get with him in chat?
Yeah,
you
get with
can,
me.
yeah. I,
Yeah.
I mean, the information that you're going to give him, all the rest of us know anyway. So if you can give it to him right now, Brother Hassan, are you at a point you can write the information down?
Uh yeah,
Yeah, just
Okay.
go ahead and give
So
it to him now, Adam.
we can do you can do Zelle.
yeah. That's the one I didn't have, but okay. I
Okay, don't
got
worry
it.
about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
Now do Zell. Go ahead. I need to get it anyway.
okay, I think Zelle you use the email address Adam at GracelineCommunityInc.org. And that'll go to our account. Um, the other way would be go to the website, right, Edward?
Yeah, I was thinking either go to the website and,
And click
I
on
forget,
donate.
and click on donate, or, you can always send a physical check.
Yeah, or you can send me a physical check. Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, you can do it that way.
So whichever way, brother or son, you decide which way is going to be easiest for you. And, I mean, different people use different methodologies and, alhamdulillah, all the money is appreciated any way it comes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't. We don't have Cash App, so at all. So I know a lot of people have that now, but
Email Adam. That's Adam Graceline with the rest
hold
of
on
it.
a second. Yeah, let me make sure I give you the right one. Adam at Graceline Community Inc.org.
Thank you. Okay. I have to keep reminding myself that this is a process and I have to be patient. And I don't think we have, enough information being shared about leadership, and it's I kind of study that with some of these leadership uh, promoters and advancers like Maxwell, and the idea of formal leadership versus informal leadership, and we have resourceful men and women uh, that need to be invited to utilize their influence to help us to progress. That's my thing.
Michael, what I have come to understand, just like this particular group right here, Graceline Community, this was an informal thing that's become formal.
And that's how it
And
operates. That's how a lot of times it happens. Again, Graceline is able to teach. There's certain standards for progress and advancing as an individual as well as a group. It's not rocket science or magic. There's certain
mhm,
steps that like uh, proper analysis. Proper information bases. This sort of thing. Uh, these are the tools that Graceline can financial literacy or whatever you want to call it. Uh, uh, Spreading that knowledge will improve not only the individuals that are spreading it, they'll get the blessing, but the blessing of those that don't know.
right. Yeah, and we're doing that. I mean,
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
is the thing, when I look at this organization, I look at 150 and many,
Yeah,
many other organizations that sprung out of an idea, very informal ideas that individuals had that have become institutions within our community.
yes,
When you look at the classes that Brother Omar has put on, and I look at those classes and compare them to other classes that are going on, and I wish Sister Hope was with us and she could tell us because she has been in Omar's class and another class that supposedly is teaching the same type of financial knowledge and things of that nature. The things that we're doing in our community are on par with what anybody else is doing in any other community. And in most cases, we're doing it with less resources than a lot of the other communities, especially if you talk about the Asian community and the European American community as a whole. They have been able to put more resources per capita to work than we have. but the product of what we're putting out there is on par, if not better, than the product that they're offering. And I can promise you that. And I can send you clips or whole episodes of, whatever you want to call them, seminars, webinars, group meetings, whatever, of other groups that you would think they would be a step or a step and a half ahead of us. They're not. And they have much more in the way of resources than we do. So even coming together, and this is my going back to the thing with no disrespect to, conveners of imams or whatever, is that we have the people within our community who, if we decide that something is worthwhile, we have the capability of making those things happen. And in the end, if there's a broad adoption of something that we started, and it gets the blessing of conveners of imams and they get involved in all of that type of thing, alhamdulillah. But we shouldn't, every time we take a step, we should not look behind like a little child and say, Daddy, am I going the right way? No, we keep moving. We check with each other as we're doing, just like what we've done for the last 4 or 5 years here, and what other groups in our community are doing, what 150 is doing, there's 2 or 3 other groups that I can think of that are doing wonderful things within our community and additionally involving more and more people in our community in what they're doing, whatever it is. So I think, once again, we need more initiatives in different areas, but it doesn't have to be centralized. And some of the little groups, like the group that met in Atlanta back in, what was it? Was it the end of last year, beginning of this year? I forget now. So a group of movers and shakers from our community got together at some really nice place outside of Atlanta. And they raised money for different projects. I can't tell you which projects they raised money for. I was invited to come. I did not go. But supposedly, they're raising over $1 million. What is that going toward? Who does it help? Why is it almost like a secret organization? See, I'm of the opinion we can't afford that. I'm glad that they're doing something. I'm just of the opinion we can't afford that yet. But I'm glad they're doing it. Anyway, that's one of my little rants for the day. But if there is nothing else, it is about 11:35 here. And I had one son in on Thursday, took me to a nice dinner. I got another son who flew in yesterday, and we're going to go for a Father's Day brunch today. So very nice. And I'm hoping that all of you that are fathers, that you have an opportunity to be celebrated this weekend by family and friends. And anything else on anybody's mind that you feel like we need to deal with this morning? If there be nothing else, I'm going to ask Brother Rabbani to close us out this morning.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walas in sanala fikos. Inna ladina amanu salihati. Watawaso bil haq. Watawaso bil sabr. Ameen.
I mean, oh, by the way, it's Spain 3, Saudi Arabia nothing at the moment. So I think the Saudis are on their way out.
Did they put
Assalamu alaikum.
did they put Lamar in?
Yamal scored the first goal for Spain. So you know
Alhamdulillah.
if Yamal is playing, it's hard time
He
for
gonna
the
score.
other
Something
team.
gonna
Yeah,
happen.
he's gonna score. Exactly. Exactly. That young brother, he holding something.
Yeah, his Muslim mother and they're good, man. You know.
Oh, they okay. I mean, I knew he was Muslim. I didn't really know that much about his family, but that young brother, that young brother's special, man.
Mhm.
You know, I thought he must be related to you. He looked like you, Rabani.
Hey man, if you had seen me in 1963, I had that same gold hair and
Okay.
that processed head.
But you know, it's so funny because many of us have doppelgangers out there, people that supposedly look like us. But even,
I know.
when I see the expressions on his face after he's done something, man, y'all from the same family tree, brother.
Yeah, that concholine will do it all. If your head is red and bald, concholine done did it all.
Oh, man.
Okay,
All
assalamu
right.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam.